Hello, welcome to the Trophy Trust, your weekly podcast for PlayStation Trophy Hunters, episode number 35. I'm one of your hosts, the Dazil. Joining me this evening, we have the Vectronic.
Hello!
And we have Nomad Dragon.
Hey there.
Good evening, gentlemen. It is a very warm Friday evening where I am. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually suffering at the moment. I've had to close the windows because obviously I'm recording, and it is humid as hell in here. So it's going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tricky trophy of an episode to get through, an endurance test, so to speak.
What's the temperature there?
I don't know right now. I don't have it to hand, but I'm British, so I can't actually cope with anything above 15 degrees Celsius.
Wow, so, it's 26 Celsius today here. It's pretty hot. Summer's beginning.
It's just really humid here, just where I live. It's just the way like the houses are built and just the streets and all of that. It's just a lot of pavement, a lot of concrete. You know, it just absorbs all the sun and kicks it all back out in the evening. It just makes it really horrid and humid, and it's not pleasant to play video games in this weather, like on indoors. It's just it's horrible. But anyway, enough about me. Vec, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I just got back from the week and I got some bunch of games to buy. I got what was that called? Skyrim Legendary Edition for like $5, and I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But
Skyrim's on literally everything, isn't it? So it's can't be that rare.
No, it's not. But I just got it because it was like very cheap, and I wanted it. And normally it's like $14, $15, and I just wanted it cheaper, and I found it cheaper, so I'm okay with that. But besides that, yeah. So, besides that, what we got? You said you're fucking warm out there. Oh boy. Well, how do we start this?
Well, anyway, I didn't ask, but Nomad, how are you doing this week so far?
Oh yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. Just picked up God of War, so excited to play that today.
Yeah, today is the day of recording this. It is the launch day for God of War. I've been playing it. I will talk about it, but not too much in depth, of course. Nomad's got it, and he's very eager to get off this podcast and play it, which I do not blame him for because it's awesome. So anyway, let's just kick right off and get into what we've been playing. And I tell you what, Nomad, why don't you go first? Give us an insight of what your gaming's been like over the last week.
So the last week, with the events in Monster Hunter, I was gold crown farming like crazy. I'm one of those people playing Monster Hunter a lot. I think I have about 140 hours into the game so far.
If anyone who listened to last week's episode, we had a huge segment where Kai Phoenix and Claire they went off on a whole tangent about Monster Hunter World. Claire was talking about all the crowns and how he's managed to get the sizing up of the monsters down and all of that. Is that something? So is that something you've been doing then? Sort of looking for the size crowns.
Yeah, I'm down to like 15 crowns, so out of 56 total that you need. So pretty good.
It's quite some progress.
Nice.
Yeah, but I've also been playing Far Cry 5. I'm only like 25% of the story, but God of War is going to slow me down on that.
How have you been finding Far Cry?
I enjoy it quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of small glitches and stuff, but I don't think it ruins the game at all. I mean,
it's certainly random, isn't it? Like sometimes you'll be trying to sneak up on an outpost and then like a bear will come out of nowhere and ruin your stealth, or some weird NPC will come like running down the road or run people over in a car. It's really kind of random.
I mean, just by the sound of it, it just sounds like a normal traditional Far Cry game because you got tigers.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
What was the tigers on 3? The second game had like the roads. You cannot be on the roads, otherwise they shoot at you from the cars. Mm-hmm. And the fourth game had like what? The
honey badgers?
Honey badgers, yeah.
Oh, yes. Those little suckers.
Yeah. So
yeah, because I remember when you were hunting honey badgers, there would be a mission for honey badgers, like the ultimate honey badger that was like really, really hard to kill. And when you like accept the hunting mission to go and find it, it had a name as well. It was like a it looked different. It was like a golden, not like literally gold, but kind of like a goldish kind of like colour. And it was like a bullet sponge. And when you went to accept the mission, it was like, "Are you sure? Are you really sure?" Like it had a few like kind of It wasn't really that tough, to be honest, but it did take a lot of like magnum bullets and like automatic rounds and all of that. But yeah, those things are crazy. The turkeys would be the equivalent in Far Cry 5. And
I haven't encountered any turkeys.
You will. They just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've also been boosting some Need for Speed Shift 2 on PS3. It's one of my first PS3 games that I've gone back to since getting PS4, so pretty interesting. I already earned some multiplayer trophies because I have some friends boosting the trophies because they're very annoying. Impossible to do now because it's so dead.
It's always a little jarring, isn't it, going back to PS3 from PS4, just like in multiple ways. We spoke about this before, but for example, like the top 3 would be, for me, the most kind of jarring thing when you first boot it up again would be, number 1, the sort of UI and the layout. It's kind of like clunky. 2, the sort of just loading times or just the performance of the system, such as loading times, install times.
Oh yeah, the game froze so many times. It's ridiculous.
Trophy syncing times, basically all performance is like much worse in comparison to like modern day consoles. And the third one for me would be the controller. You know, it's going from DualShock 4 back to DualShock 3. It's tiny, isn't it? And it feels almost hollow in comparison.
Yeah, it does. It's actually, I kind of like the difference in size. Like, it's kind of nice to go back because I ordered 2 brand new controllers off eBay, and it's so nice having new controllers again. Like,
the thing I miss about the DualShock 3 in particular, in comparison to the DualShock 4, I know we've covered this a lot before in previous episodes when we went off about the DualShock, but just the texture of the analog sticks, that kind of like the texture of the rubber, I kind of miss off of the new ones. It's kind of like quite, the pattern is quite, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's really comfortable, and it grips your thumbs quite well. But the newer ones on DualShock 4, it's kind of smooth. I have caps on mine because I don't like the analogs on DualShock 4 anyway, but the rubber's a lot more coarse. That's it. That's the word I'm looking. The rubber is more coarse on the DualShock 3 than it is on the 4, and I just preferred that. It just didn't slip as much, you know?
I've been like 7 years with the PS3, and the rubbers on the controllers have never been like worn out. So I think that's very good design there. So
yeah, I definitely think they improved the rubber going from the DualShock 2 to the DualShock 3, because I remember I had the same PS2 controller throughout the entire life of my PS2, and I had that almost a decade. And by the end, the rubber on the PS2 DualShock controller, it kind of like worn down a little. It was kind of more kind of like a glossy kind of finish rather than a matte one by the end of it, which is
shiny.
Yeah, which is to be expected, I suppose. But yeah, man, and also just like speaking of wear and tear on the controllers, like going back to like PS3 and having like that controller for quite a long time for the life of the PS3 and the PS2 as well, the plastic on the controller in general goes kind of shiny and slippery. It loses its grip after a while. I guess it's just the natural chemicals and sweat and whatnot that just comes out of your hands just while you're playing games. It just eats away at the plastic over time. I've tried like silicone grips and all that in the past, like anyone else has, but they're just crap. Like in my opinion, they're just rubbish. They make it worse. In my opinion, all the crap builds up in them.
Yeah.
They're not easy to wipe clean like the actual natural default plastic that you get on the controllers. But anyway, we've gone well off on tangent about controllers so far. So is that all you've been playing, Nomad, so far?
Yeah, basically those 3 games is all I've been playing. But obviously today it's going to be God of War.
Absolutely, we will get to that shortly. Beck, what have you been up to?
Okay, so last week I said I was going to boost Little Big Planet karting, so I'm going to come back here and say I've done most of the trophies, the online trophies anyways. I'm only missing 2 of them, and for a good reason. Both of them are time consuming. One of them is the 25 wins trophy, and the other one is like the 10th place trophy for your level that you publish. And both of these are fucking impossible because the online is so crap. And just boosting the 25 wins trophy, it took me a session of 3 hours last night, and we only went for like 6 wins, and it was horrid. But enough of that. Besides Little Big Planet karting, I recently picked up again God of War 3 because I want to platinum that game, and it's celebration of God of War's release today. So God of War 3
cool.
God of War 3 is such a beautiful game. Even for PS3 standards, it's like it runs smooth, it looks pretty. It has one of the more greater lighting engines I've seen on the PS3 game. And the textures, god damn, the textures, they look pretty. But
Yeah, I mean, I've played both versions, both the PS3 version and the PS4 remaster, and yeah, I mean, it holds up. I mean, I don't know how much remastering they did to the PS3 version, like high-res textures and 1080, boosting the resolution up to 1080p for PS4, but yeah, the game does, it blew me away when I first got it, just because of the jump from the PS2 visuals, the graphics of the PS2 to the PS3 were insane. You know, just like the lighting, textures, the size of the boss battles as well had increased. But it's mainly just the little things, like I said, the lighting, the texture, shadows, and whatnot. The things that add to the sort of realism, if you will, that were the most impressive in the leap between generations.
Yeah, like I didn't see any more. Like I think I had this discussion with Novad, but I didn't see any difficulties looking in between the screenshots for 3 in both versions. I feel like this is the most well optimized game in the PS3 lineup, so that even the PS4 looks like, wow, they don't look that different. So I applaud them, Santa Monica, for actually making God of War 3. So far, I'm already halfway through the game. I'm not going to spoil anything, so I think the only way I should actually mention this would be that I got the second unlockable weapon, but I'm already playing on the Titan difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the whole game. Hardest in quotes, because because you can actually choose the hard difficulty, but I have to play it legit anyways to get the godly possessions that I'm missing 2 of them right now, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, I don't remember it being particularly tricky compared to like the previous 2 God of War games. Out of the original, I'd say original 3, I know there's Ascension as well on the PSP, but out of the original home console 1, 2, and 3, I definitely think that 3 was, I say easiest, but like in quotations, because those games aren't like easy, but it definitely felt smoother to play. I definitely had a lot less deaths. I think the only particular one I started to struggle with is try to be vague to dance around anyone who's not played it, but like pretty much every God of War game, you get all of your abilities stripped away at the start, and you eventually get them back as you progress through the game. So the first sort of level up to the first proper boss post you getting your power stripped off of you, that boss I found particularly tricky, at least when I very first played through it on PS3. I don't know whether they made it any easier but with PS4 or just like the improved frame rate or whatever on PS4, but I found it a lot easier on PS4.
Yeah, it runs at 60 frames on PS4, I'm pretty sure.
I definitely had a lot less friction in regards to difficulty on the PS4 version than I did with PS3. Because I remember really struggling in the very opening boss battle of that game on PS3 on Titan mode. But on PS4, I just went through it straight away on Titan mode and didn't really have much of a problem. But maybe the frame rate, maybe they tweaked it a little bit. I don't know. Who knows?
I did the Titan mode glitch on PS4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did it legit on PS3. Then you did it like glitch out of PS4.
I didn't know there was a glitch.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could choose it.
You can have infinite health and you can have all your powers from the start.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, not every power. You only keep the weapons, the upgrades, and nothing. And the what was the stamina? That when you use like the one of the weapons that are in like the bow.
Yeah. The little yellow bar.
Yeah, the yellow bar. But you cannot use the health, so you have to replenish it with the Gorgonize and the magic with the Phoenix Feathers. Besides that, it's fairly simple. It's much easier now and much more tolerable. playing it with a maxed out curve because I managed to go for it, and so far I'm enjoying it. Not
Cool,
much to
good.
say besides that.
All right then. Well, I guess it's on to me then. What I've been playing recently. In the run-up this week to God of War releasing today, Friday, I didn't really want to get into any big games. I've got plenty of stuff on my PlayStation, but they're all quite big games that would take a week or two to platinum. So I didn't really want to get any. I don't like playing multiple games at once. I like playing one game at a time, committing to it, getting it done, and moving on to the next one. It's just how I've pretty much always been with games. I just put my concentration all into one at a time. And I didn't want to start anything too big that will overlap God of War. So I had a quick look in the sales during the week, and I noticed that Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered was on sale. It was down from £35 down to $17 in the sort of PlayStation Plus double discount sale. Oof. And I've known to see a few people on Twitter and on the server who have played it in the past. Claire's one of them. He recommended it. I'm not really that into Call of Duty at all anymore since Black Ops 2. That really, really put me off. It killed any interest I had in the series. It's just not for me. I played enough of it in my sort of mid to late teenage years, so I had my fill. But I thought, you know what, Call of Duty 4 is really nostalgic for me. So and at half price, I thought I'd give it a try. And it's great. It runs at 60 frames. It looks awesome on PS4 Pro. It runs near to 4K in certain. I think the resolution is dynamic. It goes up and down, but it looks really, really good on a 4K television. Just amazing. I had to. I'm in the middle of combat in some of the missions, and I had to just stop and look around at some of the textures. I platinumed it pretty quickly. I'm not going to lie. I cheesed the difficulty. I used to glitch to get the veteran trophies because I don't care for playing Call of Duty and in general, and I specifically don't care for playing Call of Duty on veteran mode because I've done it in the past in previous games, and it's horrible. It's a horrible experience, and I really don't like it. So I used a well-established glitch to get the trophies and get the platinum in about 2 days because I cannot be bothered with the frustration. I won't lie. Yeah, I cheesed the trophies, but I didn't want to get stressed and mad, and I wanted to get it over and done with before God of War because I feel if I did it legit, it would have taken me a lot longer to get through a lot of those missions, particularly some of the later game ones where you're just completely overwhelmed with enemies.
Yeah, I can tell you when I first started that game on Veteran, I got to the 7th mission, I beat that, and then literally I didn't try the campaign again until July of next year, 7 months later, because I was just so annoyed by how hard it was.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I really didn't want to go through any of that stress and frustration because I would have absolutely definitely lost my shit playing that game. So I just wanted an easy time, really. Basically, it was just a trip down memory lane. Like I said, the game is very nostalgic for me. It was the first Call of Duty game I played. I actually had a friend recommend it to me, and I bought it pre-owned. And I thought, I didn't really know what I was getting into. But yeah, the opening tanker mission was so kind of cinematic. This was one of the first sort of early PS3 games I had, and it blew me away. How cinematic and epic and sort of intense the tanker sinking part of the opening mission was. I got involved in the online. I really enjoyed the multiplayer back when it was simpler times for Call of Duty's multiplayer. I played it enough to prestige it. It's the only Call of Duty multiplayer I've ever gone as far as getting prestige on. I had a lot of free time. It was back sort of in college days where I had a lot of free time between lessons, so I just sunk loads of time into it. But it's awesome. The remaster is really, really well done. It plays lovely for a first-person shooter, and looks great, and it's really fun. So I would have paid £35 for it though, because there's no online trophies, which is good for me personally. But it's a very short campaign if you just sort of blitz through it anyway. So I don't think there's tons of content for a remaster. I think 35 seems a little steep in my opinion, but it's fine. 17. Not bad at all. And then that unfortunately didn't take me all the way up to God of War. I had a few days of not really playing anything, just watching Netflix and stuff, sort of biding my time until today, until God of War. Got it this morning.
Ooh.
I've played about 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm probably not as far as you would think I am, because I've just been stopping to look around at the world. It's just amazing. The gameplay is lovely. The visuals are outstanding. I'm playing it on Pro. It runs at checkerboard 4K and it looks fantastic. Like just the details in like the leather on Kratos' armor, or just the world around him. His skin, beard, hair, the way the light is, the HDR, the way it pops like the foliage, and sometimes in the environment there's fire and like trees are burning, but they're not like burning. They're like embers, like glowing in the wood. It just looks amazing, and the combat is awesome. It's really satisfying. I hate making the Dark Souls comparison like everyone does, but it feels a little bit like Bloodborne in terms of like the combat's all about kind of ducking and rolling out of the way and getting your timing right. So you can approach enemies at a higher level than you, sort of high risk, high reward. At least I thought. I killed a enemy that was quite a little tougher than me, but I didn't really get rewarded as much as I thought. But it's kind of in a different way. That enemy was kind of like in the vicinity of a chest, so I guess he was guarding the chest, because I don't think I would have been able to open the chest. So yeah, I guess high enemies do guard higher treasures. But I don't really know what to say about it. It's very early days. Like I said, I'm only like 4 hours into it, but so far I'm loving it. The opening hour is absolutely amazing. There's some like scripted fights that go on that are just incredible. The one-shot camera direction is just crazy. Like the action never stops. You move, you as like the audience, you move with everything that's going on, and there's this big sort of fight, and it just flows with the action. It's constantly moving with the direction of the fight, and it never stops. There's no cuts. There's no fades. There's no like. Kratos is pretty much always on screen, like always. So it just adds to the immersion of the game, and I'm having a lot of fun with it so far, and I really look forward to getting even more in depth with it. There's plenty to do. I've only defaulted such a small portion of the map so far, and it's like it's got like even more RPG sort of elements to it than before. I mean, in the old games, you channel the red orbs into upgrading your weapons and whatnot, and unlocking more attacks as you channel more orbs into them. Kind of similar here. You have XP, which you can channel into, upgrading weapons, and not to mention runes, which is a mechanic used in loads of different games. Like Shadow of Mordor, for example, like attaching runes that do different buffs and whatnot, and elemental attacks and stuff. Yeah, attributes, and to your axe and any other weapons you get. Like I said, I haven't got that far in yet. But yeah, it's more RPG sort of thing. They have like a kind of loot chests you can find, and there's like rarity in items as well, like purple for legendary and all that. So it's kind of similar to like how Assassin's Creed Origins changed the series as well. They've kind of got light RPG mechanics kind of sprinkled in, skill trees and stuff, which is great. I like it. It's refreshing. A lot of people were sort of on the fence about the change of direction for the series, and me being a long-time fan of the series, I think it's good. It's this good change. It's
needed change.
Absolutely. I think with Ascension being kind of bland in comparison to the others, to the previous ones, I think it desperately needed to be rebooted into this new format.
I skipped Ascension because I was so it just felt like a disappointment. I
skipped the session as well. I didn't find it appealing. Besides, it's just a prequel.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it was like, it's a prequel. Okay, so
I couldn't believe they put multiplayer in a God of War game.
Did they have like one trophy and that's it, at least?
Yeah, just one. Just basically do the intro for the multiplayer.
Oh, at least.
That was it. So, which is fine. I played a few matches. It really wasn't great at all. But yeah, I mean, where do you go from like the
3 was masterpiece.
Yeah, where do you go from like the end of 3 to like Ascension, which is a prequel? It was definitely a step backwards. Visually, fantastic, great, looked just as good, if not better, than 3. But in terms of story, it was boring. You just no comparison to the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's what I've been playing. I'm not really going to go any more into God of War because I've only touched upon it a little bit, and I don't want to spoil it in any sort of by going into any more detail, and Nomad's not started it yet. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to move on to the news section. So Vec, why don't you tell us what stories we've got to discuss?
Okay, I was going to segue this from Nomad's story on Call of Duty, but we got reports that apparently the single-player portion of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will no longer be available, and instead will opt in for multiplayer and zombies. And also, they're going to add a Battle Royale mode in the game, and it has been confirmed it's going to be added in. So, I have no idea what you guys think about it, because I don't have much of an opinion on, what's this game? Call of Duty. I've not gotten any interested on this, but I want to know what you guys think.
Well, I'm sort of in the same boat as you, Vex, but let's ask Nomad.
Yeah, it's going to be Ask Nomad. Okay.
Alright, so I played every single Call of Duty, like, on release, except for World War II. I waited like a month after, because I was kind of skeptical. But hearing that they are maybe cutting out the campaign, and that, to me, kind of excites me, because, I mean, yeah, the campaigns are a good, fun 10 to 12 hours sometimes. I mean, sometimes 7 to 10, I would say. But to me, I mean, I think they need to focus on multiplayer, because it's been stale. Like, it's getting stale. I don't know. I mean, to me, I can't even play more than 5 or 10 matches in a row without getting bored. And used to, I could play for 10 hours straight without getting bored. So it's, I mean, I'm probably just burned out on the series, but I think the Battle Royale mode will be cool if it's tied to, like, the XP earned in multiplayer. Like, so you could play TDM, like Team Deathmatch, and then you could also play Battle Royale mode to level up. Like, I think that'd be really cool. But if they only do Battle Royale for multiplayer, then I'm not buying it. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
I don't think they'll just have Battle Royale. They'll have the traditional ones, but these Battle Royale modes seem to be the trend at the moment in a lot of games. So I think they're just going to move with the times. But they said that it won't have a traditional single-player campaign, so they're not really clued us into what that really means. But
yeah, the big reveal is next month. So
a lot of people have asked over the years, why do they even bother putting campaigns into it? But there are people out there who say they buy it for the campaigns. But I don't know. Like I said in the segment just gone, I'm not really into Call of Duty anyway, so doesn't really mean anything to me personally. I've lost all interest in that series anyway. I only dipped back to Modern Warfare because it was on sale, and I thought I'd have a little nostalgia trip. But
I hope they start remastering more old Call of Duties, because, like, I want Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I know that's still rumored, but hopefully that comes soon.
If that's true, that people will have some, like, campaign to play, like Nick said on chat. So I feel like it's gonna be they're gonna release it as a separate thing, so that people who want the campaign, they'll have the campaign. If they want the multiplayer portion, they can just buy the multiplayer game. Although, personally, I don't feel like this is a good decision unless they keep the servers up as indefinite as possible. Because I still feel like if you take away a multiplayer-only type game out of service, what happens to the game copies? What would people do about it? And I think the best example of it would be MAG on PS3 that had the same problem, that it was a big, ambitious multiplayer game that had like 256 people that could be fitted on one map. That was so ambitious at the time that they had to close down the servers after not making a profit. You see, like,
for MAG?
Yeah, MAG. But yeah, I feel like if they're gonna move like the maybe the online portion, just keep it as indefinite as possible. Although they have been true to their word with that, with the previous Call of Duties, starting from
every Call of Duty server is online.
Yeah.
Still. Like even like Call of Duty 3 on 360 or whatever. or Call of Duty 2.
Oof. Wait, those had multiplayer?
Well, I think you might be onto something though, Vic. I mean, like these are all rumors. There's a rumor that Modern Warfare 2 is being remastered. There's a rumor that it's just a campaign. There's a rumor that there's not going to be a traditional campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So yeah, I mean, they could introduce that as a package, couldn't they? Like they did with Modern Warfare Remastered. Like, you know, you pre-order it, you get it with it. But that could be like their solution. It's like, well, we're going to give you a campaign. It's remastered Modern Warfare 2, and you know, Black Ops 4 is going to be a mainly sort of like just multiplayer kind of like approach to the new Call of Duty title. That could be where they're going, possibly, with it, just based on these rumors, of course. Again, none of this has been like 100% confirmed yet. I mean, the Modern Warfare 2 thing's still just a rumor, but it seems like the way they're going to have like to include a remastered version as a sort of pre-order incentive seems to be the trend at the moment, anyway. Mm-hmm. So with that bit covered, what's next?
Our final, because it's gonna be like a very short news week. Our final story of the day concerns us with Watch Dogs with Ubisoft. Apparently, while developing an AI for a couple of years in Canada. I hope I'm saying that right. No, it's Canada. But right over there, we're developing an AI to better make games. Better structure the games so they can focus more on making details and rather making the whole game experience. Because Ubisoft games are templates, and so they found out they could just make templates out of it. So while that was going on, they were interviewed by I forget the actual news. But they were interviewed, and one of the things that they mentioned was that when would it be the next Watch Dogs game? And apparently the game's already in development, using the new AI system to develop the whole game. And it's going to be very interesting because we haven't heard anything since. So I still feel like both Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs are gonna be one series after another. Like if one takes a break, one has the spotlight, then the other takes a break, and then the other has the spotlight.
Yeah, for them to alternate each year or each however long in between. This is fine.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2. Didn't play the first one, not really interested, but Watch Dogs 2 was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was bright and vibrant, had a wacky sense of humour, had some really, really enjoyable characters in it. The gameplay was good. The side missions were varied enough. There's plenty to do on the map, plenty to explore. I'd totally be into a Watch Dogs 3. If it's sort of more of the same and then some, absolutely. Yeah. And it's no surprise anyway, if they want to alternate the games every year or every 2 years, then that's cool. To make them their two sort of primary open world sandbox games, that's good enough for me. I'm like I said before, I'm into Assassin's Creed now, going forward from Origins, and I enjoyed Watch Dogs. So they definitely tick all the boxes for me. So it's good. I just like you said, it's sort of weird that this is the first we've heard of it, and we haven't heard even anything else. So it makes me wonder if it's even going to be revealed this year at all.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, especially more with there's gonna be drought after Far Cry 5, and especially now with Far Cry 3 coming later down the road. I think it's like May release date for early people with the season pass, and then they'll have nothing, and then probably next year Watch Dogs. So
yeah, I guess so. That makes sense.
I've never played a Watch Dogs, so I personally can't input on that. But.
Play two. Don't play one. One is.
Well, I'm glad they finally fixed two, because I heard the servers were having a lot of issues last week.
Yeah, wasn't there like the servers having so much issues that the online trophies could not be obtained in any way, making it unobtainable?
Yeah, because people couldn't connect, but apparently, like I think yesterday or the day before, it got fixed and people are getting their trophies again.
Wow. I'm glad. I want to platinum that game because that looks like so much fun. Although the first game, which I've already platted, it's just don't. The story, it's a cool concept on paper, but Oh.
Yeah.
Just
All right then. Well, that pretty much brings us to the news very promptly this week. It's been it's a slow news week, as they say. There's really nothing been happening. It's in the run up to we're on the road to E3 now. It's coming. So usually on the sort of lead up, we get nothing. Then a couple of weeks before E3, we'll get like a couple of small announcements to sort of like make room for the even bigger announcements at E3's press conferences. So, I think going forward, we're probably going to see less and less big announcements for the next couple of weeks until it starts to ramp up proper. So, yeah, that was a short one. So I guess we should move on to our next segment, guys, and start talking about some of those old tricky trophies.
yes.
So, Tricky Trophies is a segment where we look back through our trophy collections at some of the most challenging, rage-inducing gameplay, or just plain boredom and grinding we've had to endure for a single trophy. Now, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to set the tone for this one. We spoke about God of War, so my Tricky Trophy is going to be from a God of War game. God of War 1, actually, the PS3 remaster. This trophy is a gold. This trophy pissed me off whilst playing it a lot. And this trophy is called You Got the Touch. The description is, climb the spiked column in Hades without taking damage. Now, this trophy is just awful. To basically describe what you need to do is so there's like a huge rotating column, a big cylinder with tons of spikes sticking out of it. And you, Kratos, you have to climb up it. It rotates. The whole thing is rotating. The whole thing's got swords and spikes on it that rotate along with it. And in between each level of swords is like like a ledge, a grip that Kratos grabs onto and shimmies across and jumps up. And you have to get from the bottom of that to the top without taking a single bit of damage from any of the spikes. And if you touch the column, it rotates 360 degrees, but you can only climb the bit that's facing the camera, so the 180 degrees. It goes inside a wall, so you can't touch the walls or you fall off. You can't touch any of the swords. And I remember having to reload the checkpoint over and over and over and over again for about an hour or more. It's a horrible trophy to do. It's such a small part of the game as well for them to make it into a trophy, because if you were to just try and breeze through it, don't worry too much about the damage, you can get up the column in a couple of minutes. But it is an absolute shit to do, to be honest, and it's horrible. And that's why, I think a lot of the trophies actually in the first God of War game, especially doing the challenge of the gods, oh man,
yeah,
I don't think I'd have the patience to do that again. Like, I mean, I bought them on Vita, and I started them, but the trophy list was glitchy in that game. It didn't pop any of the trophies, so I just quit out the game and I thought, you know what,
wow.
I'm not going to play these because the trophies are really glitched in the Vita version, and I don't want to have to do something like this or Challenge of the Gods and not get my trophy for it. So I thought, no, just quit. I just deleted it. I didn't earn any trophies. The fact that when I mean the trophy list was glitched, I mean that the game didn't even install a trophy list on the Vita.
What?
Like, it just... Yeah, I don't have a trophy list on my profile for God of War on Vita. It just didn't install it. So I didn't realise at the time. So I'm playing it and the trophy doesn't pop, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I quit out of the game to go and look in the trophies, and there's no lists there. So I'm like, oh, great.
Was it the physical or digital version?
The digital version.
Ah, okay. So it must be a digital only problem. But I have to agree with you with the cylinder. I had problems with that too. Like, it was one of the more painful trophies. That and it's already near the end of the game. So if you miss that, the only options you have is like save scumming, checkpoint restarting, or just overall have to restart to that point of the game. And it's just gonna be tiresome after a while because there's no chapter select of any kind in God of War for whatever reason. So it's very difficult to relive those moments.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like you can't go too slow when climbing or you hit the walls either side. You can't go too quickly because you'll end up jumping straight into a sword. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to go at you kind of got to get a flow and kind of like just think on your feet, so to speak. And I think a bit of luck comes into it as well, because the tower, it's not like the swords are like different patterns at different heights on it as well. So when you start off at the beginning, at the bottom, there's like less swords than there are at the very top. So it obviously gets harder as you get higher on the tower. And yeah, if you get hit, by the way, if you get hit by a sword or hit, you fall all the way back down to the bottom and have to start again. So it's not just like the fact of obviously that voids the trophy, but if you're just playing it just for, without care for the trophy, it's just annoying anyway because it just knocks you all the way back down to the beginning again, and it's just, like I said, it's a shit to do.
And there's like there's like 2 segments of the trophy, so segments.
There's 2 of the columns, isn't there? Basically, like there's one after the other, and you have to get through both of them.
Yeah.
And there's no checkpoint in the middle, so if you die or if you get hit, you have to reload the checkpoint again, the first column again.
That's why I hated it so much.
Yeah, it's awful. But yeah, that's my tricky trophy, my God of War themed tricky trophy for this sort of lightly themed God of War episode that we've got. Vec, what's your tricky trophy?
I'm going back to do the sequel, so I'm going to call out God of War 2, especially on the trophy Eyesore, which is collecting 20 Cyclops eyes. Now, the trophy itself sounds fairly easy. You just have to rip out the eyes of Cyclopses throughout the game. Here's the problem with that. The Cyclops only rarely spawn in different sections of the game, so you may not get all of the 20 of them, because you can also miss the actual QTE to pull the eye out, and you may end up like me, like not getting all the Cyclops eye on your first run. So what's a possible good way was that they added in like a challenge where you can actually go and rip out the eyes that you missed out. So it's not all that bad, but initially I was so careful not killing off the actual like Cyclops that I was so scared. But right after I looked up the guide, it said, "Oh, you don't actually need to get all the Cyclops eyes during your initial run. You can just kill all of them normally and just go to this challenge." Which
I think I farmed them from the challenge as well, actually, because I think there's I don't think there is enough Cyclopses in the campaign anyway, if I can remember correctly. So I ended up farming that challenge over and over for I don't know, like 5 or 10 times, because I wasn't as careful as you was. I was just going through, and if I missed the quick time, or if I killed it before the quick time kicked in, I just went through anyway. But I do remember that, the whole Cyclops eyes, farming them.
Yeah, it was like the second to last trophy I needed for the platinum. So I was like super scared, like, what the hell? Why did I not get the trophy then? And I was like, okay, I beat the Challenge of the Titans, and then I immediately got the Cyclops eyes, and immediately after the Challenge of the Titans. So, and
I look back fondly on them games. I really do. I really, really enjoyed them at the time, but I don't think I'd have the patience like now to go back to them. Those games are hard. They're like, just because they're old as well, because of like we've spoken about this at length many times about like remasters and ports and stuff. Not so much remasters, sorry, but like ports of like PS2 classics onto PS4, like the controls, and even with like HD remasters back then on PS3, going from PS2 to PS3, it's like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, the Ratchet and Clank, the God of War 1 and 2, and the PSP collection. The controls just weren't quite right. They were okay, but they just weren't quite there yet. Like, definitely God of War like 1, for example, is like really quite like Kratos is like quite heavy to move. He's not as like fluid as he is in like later games. So those games are hard. Going back from something like God of War 3 or Ascension back to 1 would be quite a culture shock, to a gamer.
I have to disagree with you with the heavy movement on Kratos. He dodges like a motherfucker.
I think God of War 1 is the hardest platinum, though.
Oh, yeah. Still.
All of
them.
He definitely feels like weightier. He can move fast, but I just feel that his attacks are like a little slower in the first game.
Oh, I
don't know.
They gave him like the some boots to make him faster though, and also dodge faster that you probably never use except for like maybe 2 or 3 puzzles later down the road. But even still, even with the some upgrades that you get further down the line, I don't think you would actually get like how should I say this? I'm trying not to be spoilerish. Like, at least they try to make sure the movement goes faster. But anyone who's played God of War as subsequent as it goes on, Kratos surprisingly goes faster and faster and faster. Like, I playing through 3, I saw him go super fast with the dodging. Like, it's ridiculous.
I remember the one thing that would put me off doing them again now would just be like the speed running. But then you'd unlock one of the alternate costumes, don't you? You just spam like Poseidon's Rage. It just takes out all the enemies on the screen.
The Dairy Queen!
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that scene that you can actually have like the cow costume on and see the Kratos ripping someone's head off, and it just looks so fucking hilarious.
That costume's called Dairy Bastard, isn't it?
Oh, Dairy Bastard, I thought it was Dairy Queen. Oh, my mistake. Oh, let me see.
And then you've got Spud of War when he's like a jacket potato with tinfoil.
God of War.
As well.
God of War, which is just basically
and then there's the robot in one of them as well, where he's like a cardboard robot. I can't remember which game that's from. But they all like give him like infinite like stamina or infinite magic or infinite something or other, you know?
Yeah.
It's like clever little kind of like game changing like tweaks that you could turn on. But using Dairy Bastard gives you infinite magic, so you could just spam Poseidon's Rage and like get through that game in a couple of hours and get the speedrun trophy, which is pretty cool.
I'm glad they acknowledge how broken Poseidon's Rage was in the first game and not the second game. And the second game was like an unlockable that you can get after beating the game. So I'm glad that you can actually get that. So
yeah, it's definitely crazy how far the games have come. I mean, can't believe they came, like God of War 1 came out 13 years ago as of last month.
What?
So.
That game is 13 years old now? Wow.
Yeah, it came out in 2005 on PS2 originally.
I know.
And how far we've come as well, comparing like screenshots from God of War, like original God of War to God of War 2018. You know, the jumps in technology is just astounding. You know. Anyway, we've spoken about God of War long enough. No, Matt, you've been waiting patiently. Tell us what your tricky trophy is.
All right, so my tricky trophy comes from a game called 7 Days to Die. It's like a zombie survival type game. It's sort of like Minecraft meets zombie survival. So basically, each player lobby on PC can have up to 8 people, but on PS4 it can only have 4 people. So the trophy that I'm going to use it's called the Funeral Director. It's for killing 2,500. Oh wait, no. Sorry, that's the wrong one. It's called Alexander the Great. It's for killing 2,500 other players. And so you can only have 4 people lobbies, and usually you're playing with one other friend. So if you host a public game, the map is probably as big as, I want to say like Just Cause or something. Like, it's ridiculous how big it is. And basically like everybody spawns in randomly, and you have to like acquire tools and material to build your base and like survive from the zombies, but also like to kill other people. Like it's just takes forever, because there's a trophy for killing 10 players, and then it just jumps up to another trophy for 100 players, and then 500, and then they're just like, yo, let's do 2,500 because that'll be fun.
So in a game where you rarely happen upon human enemies because you're too busy building to defend against AI enemies, right? So
yeah, so we're all defending against zombies. We're not trying to kill each other. So I had to boost that with I borrowed like my sister's PS3 or PS4, and so basically I would tape my R2 down or rubber band it, and it would just melee my sister's character. And I literally, like, it would, you would have, like, a bedroll where you spawn if you die. And if you turn off her controller, it would let you just, like, kill them, and they would just keep respawning. But, like, the respawn time is probably, like, 15, 20 seconds. So it's not even quick. So, yeah, doing it that way, it took me, I want to say, 16 or 17 hours.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we're really in the weeds here when it comes to trophy hunting, when you're getting like sticky tape, rubber bands, and all sorts of that kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. And it's just crazy because probably about 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, people found a new glitch with a new patch because they're constantly patching the game because it was like an alpha when it first came out. And now there's a glitch where you can get this trophy in like 3 to 5 minutes, and it annoys the hell out of me that I spent that much time doing it, and I still haven't even platinumed the game because there's other trophies that are just very time consuming that I don't want to do right now.
I was going to say, at least you did it legit, but you didn't even do it legit. You were spawn camping and you rubber band your controller as well. So.
Yeah, it's very shameful. It feels bad.
I rubber banded Little Big Planet 2 and karting just by holding both of the analog sticks together, just so that the sideboard just spins around in circles. And I had to leave that for 24 hours, so don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, and then on that Shift 2 Unleashed that I just started, like, there's the 10-hour online trophy, and the online trophies take, like, like, game time, probably 15, 30 minutes. Like, it's so, I have to, like, let that AFK for a whole night, basically, too, when I get to doing that.
Those time-consuming trophies are just, like, stupid. They just there so that people could get more money's worth, or they expect people to actually be long enough in that game.
Yeah.
It's like what was that game? Bad Company 2 that had this same problem. It had like stupid requirements for the trophies because they expected people to play as long as they wanted, and they didn't expect to make a sequel until they did.
Yeah, I hate those time sync trophies where it's like Saints Row 3 and 4, where it had like 3rd and 30 and 4th and 40, where it's like play the game for 30 hours, which was, I was close with Saints Row 3. I think I finished everything in the game around the sort of 25-hour mark, so I just had to leave the game AFK for like 5 hours, just a couple of sessions, just standing on the edge of the map, out of the way of everything. But then 4th and 40 was overkill because Saints Row 4 I felt had like even less to do in it than
25.
Saints Row 3. Huh?
25 hours was mine when I did.
For Saints Row 4.
Yeah, I had like 25 hours left to do.
Yeah, so it's about like they're more or less around the same amount once you've got everything done. But I felt like I got through it a lot quicker, so I had to leave the console on, not consecutively, but just like overall, like a good, I don't know, probably about 10 hours. I was probably about 10 hours short of that trophy, and I had to leave it on and just go do other stuff because like time sync trophies like that are just ludicrous. They are a literal waste of time. I could have been playing another whole game. I mean, obviously you can say, we didn't have to do the trophies are optional, but, well, we're all here because we're about the trophies. But what I'm saying is those trophies are horrible. They are really horrible because they just waste your time. You could be playing another game or doing anything else with the system. It's not like you can just like with a PC, for example, you could like maybe like minimize it and do something else, or like watch something, while the game runs in the background. Yeah, it would be great if you could like minimize the game on PS4 and open Netflix or other
that'd be so nice.
Or even what if it was like picture in picture, so you'd have like the game on a mini picture in the corner and your Netflix up like that, what Xbox does or Xbox One does with its picture in picture. That'd be at least a little bit useful for like trophy hunting, grinding,
or maybe get a PS3 and PS4 and have one do one thing and then play on the other system. But
I actually bought another PS3 power cord today, so I could do just that. Like I could boost Need for Speed and play my PS4.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny that I just mentioned Saints Row. It's because someone who I follow on Twitter was today, whilst they were playing God of War, they were playing God of War on their PS4, and then on their laptop in the background they had PlayStation Now running with Saints Row 4 in it, just AFK doing the 4th and 40 trophy. So that's a clever way of doing it as well, because it's the same account. The trophies will ping and like sync to the same account, So I never thought of it that way, but that's pretty clever as well.
Look.
Yeah, Minecraft has two like 30 hour, like has a 30-hour like trophy too. Like you have to play one game for 30 hours or something like that.
I think
and I stacked that twice. And literally, I would just let it AFK like when I like would go to sleep or like I didn't like to leave my system on if I wasn't home, so.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't leave it on when I went to work and stuff.
okay. This is mine. I posted a picture right here on the chat, but this is what I did with the 24 hours on create mode on karting. Literally, I just put a yo-yo, used the string, wrapped around the analog stick.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like really. That's how dedicated people are.
Man, I haven't seen a yo-yo in so many years.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm more surprised to see a yo-yo.
Right?
I haven't seen a yo-yo in a lot, like one of those, since I was like a kid, when they were all when they were the craze, when they were like lit up and people were doing like sleeper and walk the dog and the cradle and all them like wacky moves people used to do with them. Wow.
Yeah, that was so fun. I loved playing with yo-yos, except for when they would like backflash and like hit you in the like leg or something like, or the string would get knotted or yeah.
And
those are crazy.
Those were simpler times.
Absolutely.
Now they're used for trophy hunting purposes.
Yeah, I guess so.
In Vex's house, yeah.
Well, I think that is a good place to round it up for this episode. I think we've covered all the grounds of what we can do. So I tell you what, let's all find out where we can all find each other on the socials. So, Vec, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @DVectronic. Where can people find you, Nomad?
I'm on Twitch as Nomad Dragon, and then I'm also on Twitter as Nomad Dragon PSN. So,
okie dokie. And guys, you can find me on Twitter at @TheDazil. So, thank you for listening. As always, you can find our episodes on our YouTube channel, The Trophy Trust. Please support us there by subscribing for future episodes. You can also find updates on our Twitter at The Trophy Trust. There in the profile, you can find a link to our Discord, the PlayStation Trophy Hunter server, where you, if you haven't already, can join our ever-growing community of gamers and trophy hunters. If you enjoy our show, please consider supporting us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. We're strictly a non-profit podcast, however, server hosting costs need to be paid to keep us on the air and to keep all of our episodes available. This has been the Trophy Trust. Keep on hunting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Later.